Hello everyone. I know it's been quite a bit of time since the last update, but I'm going to do a couple of different updates. So those that just want to have the benefits stuff can watch this. And then those that want to hear some more details on just my activities during the last 2 months, I'll have another video. But for the benefits portion, here's a few different things that I want to talk about. The 401k status. I know a lot of people have reached out about 401ks, how we are labeled on that status. I have worked with our staff rep who've worked with corporate to try investigate every single option that we can to try get you guys the most benefits available. I called Fidelity myself, talked to corporate like I had stated, and pretty much have met walls at every single avenue that I've explored to see if there's any other option. And currently the status that we're labeled under, according to Fidelity, is the only one that would fit. I'm still looking into this issue, but as of right now, the options that you're being told from Fidelity officials or from the company are right now the only options that are available. But there is another option that we do have that I wanted to give you guys all an update on. Some of you know already, but there is a 401k loan payment stop. And what this is basically you can elect to stop these payments coming out of your subpay. I know we were told they were not going to be coming out, but as we found out over the last 2 months, they still are. So you can take this form right here or contact me or Kim Bossy, and we will get you this form, or show up at the hall when she is here and get this form, fill it out. You can send a picture to me and email it to me, or email it to Kim, and we'll get that to Vidmar as soon as possible so that those loan deferment payments will stop, and then you can get the full amount of sub that you're entitled to. So that is an option that isn't stated from Fidelity, but it is an option that we do have. So it's called the loan payment stop while on non-military leave of absence. I know it's not what a lot of people have wanted to get access to the full amount and whatnot, but at least this will stop these payments coming out of your subpay and will defer for at least a period of about 12 months, I believe, so that you can get the max amount of sub that you're entitled to. So these sheets are at the hall. I have a copy of them scanned in so I can text and email them to you. What you have to do is fill it out, sign it. I encourage you to read it and then get that back to me, and we'll get to HR as soon as possible. The next thing that we have been getting a lot of questions on is supplemental unemployment benefits. So for those of you that got other jobs or are working at US Steel or somewhere else, there's been so much confusion and so many questions on subpay from Minorca if you go work at anywhere else. And spoke to Vidmar, went and visited, talked to him, finally was able to get a supplemental unemployment benefits application in the form of this. And this is something that you can fill out. I believe there is a attachment to show how much earnings you're making at this new employer. And then we'll be able to justify how much sub that you'll have earned from our contract. And so it's nice for those of you that went out and got other employment and you would probably would not qualify for unemployment insurance. And so instead of just not making application or making that effort, we fill out this sheet, send it into HR, and then HR will look through all of it and see the amount of subpay that you are allotted, whether it's the minimum, or if it's, you're making less than what you're entitled to based off of the percentages in our contract. So all it is another form of being able to ensure that you guys get your subpay, which I'm very, very thankful for, because a lot of people have had a lot of questions, and I've tried to find answers on subpay, getting a job at a high paying job, like, going over to Mintech or Keytech or other US Steel places. So having this sheet of paper so that you can still get the subpay that you've earned through our contract is huge. And so I encourage any of you guys that haven't received subpay or didn't feel like you should apply for unemployment insurance, or your applications are all messed up, contact me, call me, email me, text me, and we'll work through those issues with your unemployment and transition you into using this form so that HR and Cliffs at Minorca can make sure you're getting the subpay that you're allocated. We'll be working through anyone's issues who haven't been getting subpay, that should have been getting subpay since you've been laid off. I know it's going to be a case-by-case basis as usual, so please contact me and we'll get this form, contact Kim, or show up at the hall because these forms are here. So this is basically, you are entitled, you may be entitled to subpay if you're working another job. We have earned the subpay, and so this sheet is basically making sure that just because an unemployment application isn't going through to Vidmar's desk, that this is going through and that he can go through the calculations to see how much subpay to pay you. So if you have any questions about supplemental employment benefits while you're working, please call or text me. Like I said, I apologize when those texts and call logs get extended. I'm still trying to actively get to people in a timely manner, but a lot of times it does get a little backlog. But yes, there is there is a chance that you qualify for subpay even if you get another job, whether it's Super One or Taco Bell or Mintac or anywhere else. The other thing that I wanted to touch on was unemployment insurance for those that are going back to school. I know a lot of you had reached out saying, okay, if we go back to school, some of these questions on here are, asking if you're going to be available for suitable employment. Well, there was actually in this new legislative session, there has been a definition on suitable employment and your availability for suitable employment. I encourage you guys to look into that. I have it if you want to see it, what the state has basically written out, so we have a better understanding of it. But I spoke to one of the managers or higher ups within the unemployment insurance office. I do have a direct line to the director of uninsurance benefits. And so, as always, for you guys, please reach out to me if you have something going on with unemployment insurance and some issues, and including with going back to school issues, we can kind of work through where you're at. But the biggest thing that they had informed me was that if you go through the the Dislocated Workers Program, the DEED program, to go through adequate training to apply for the benefits that we have, likely your counselor is going to be able to guide you into what you will qualify for, what you can do and still maintain your unemployment benefits without having to think about anything. So the biggest advice I'd have is if you haven't gone through the DEED, the Economic Employment Agency, I would encourage you to do that, because all those different counselors are able to say, okay, yes, I can say with certainty this is going to qualify you or this will disqualify you. So that is in this email that I had, that I asked to have it in writing, that she talks about what specific curriculum or training or anything would help or hurt your unemployment benefits. As always, they don't want to put something in black and white, because things generally go off a case-by-case basis. If you have applied for school and you do have classes, still go to the workforce center, set up an appointment, explain the situation, and if you need to, contact me as well, and we'll work with the state to make sure that your availability for suitable employment isn't going to be affected by this schooling, or at least won't be negatively affected, and you'll still be able to get unemployment as you're going to school to advance your career, whether it's electricians or anything else like that. The last thing I want to touch on for sure is that we did get this unemployment extension. It was passed in the jobs bill. I have it right here, the actual language of it, and it was 26 weeks, so 6 months. There is an actual date restriction on here, and so virtually it's going to make sure that it's going to get us through the winter and get us to June of 26. I know it was huge, and I'm going to be working closely with all the people that we owe thanks to that came there for us, all the representatives and officials that worked with me and with Chris over at HIPTAC and with Arbo and just the USW, to make sure that through this legislative session in Minnesota, we were taking care of us up here on the Iron Range. And so I will be working on a formal thank you for all of those officials that were there for us as promised, and we were very appreciative to all of you guys. And you guys, if you see this, you know who you are. There are still transfers that are still happening. I'm still getting emails, and as soon as I get them, I post them up here in the hall. There's a salary position up at North Shore. There were some UTAC positions that I had sent a text out on. So keep up to date on the hall and ask if there's anything else. I'll try to get it to you as soon as possible. But as of right now, I believe it's only a salary position, a foreman position at North Shore. I'm working closely to try to talk through other available transfers to the steel facilities within our contract. So if there's anything more on that, for those of you that would be interested in transferring to another plant within our steel contract, hopefully we'll get some answers to you guys soon, and to make sure that all those options are on the table for all of us. I hope you all are doing well. Please keep in contact with all of your coworkers, as Menorca is still there. We're just as you guys know, 2 months into waiting for the need for our pellets to come back. So this is the first video I make, whether you watch it first or not. I'm going to have another video on just some presidential updates on what I've been doing and what the union's been doing to try make sure our contract is honored and what's going on at Minorca.